This stream is cleared for takeoff. Hi everyone! We're back again. I know you saw some of us yesterday. Happy Thursday and happy World Update Day. As you probably saw, yes, there's an update that literally just came out. Some of you are probably still downloading it as we speak, or maybe you're still waiting to get the update. So hi everyone, hope you're well. We got two folks here today. We have a Seb missing, but no worries there. He's working really hard on our Dev Part 2 Q&A, which is coming on June 30th. That one is going to be all about PC and Xbox updates. So I'll just start the stream by saying, yes, we want your Xbox questions, but please save them for the June 30th stream. There's still a thread in the forums to ask those Xbox questions and to vote on them if you're wanting to ask anything about that. But this stream is fully focused on world updates, so we'll do some introductions. First of all, my name is Jayne. I am the community manager for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and below me we have Jorg.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining.
And we also have Martial.
Hi ho, very nice to be with you again.
Awesome, thanks for joining us. Our agenda today, we'll first talk a little bit about the update that's out right now, and then we'll delve into what's coming, and after that we'll go into our Q&A. So go ahead and check out the PowerPoint here. Jorg, take it away.
Yeah, so hi everybody, good to see you again. Yeah, we're having quite the week. I don't know to what degree you're following it all, but we had earlier in the week or weekend, we had our E3 announced. We announced our Xbox date, which is July 27th. If you haven't heard yet, we announced that we're doing something with Paramount and Top Gun, which is super cool. Yesterday we had a Q&A stream. Another thing that made me happy yesterday was Robert and PMDG announced that the DC6 is coming. Super cool, can't wait. And then today we launched World Update 5, and I basically wanted to celebrate that, talk a little bit about it. Also, as tradition, we are announcing World Update 6. We're also announcing a new partner, and we're announcing a new plane. Whee! So there's lots of stuff going on. So maybe roll through. Oh yeah, I think we wanted to start just with the trailer, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Awesome. All right. Yes. Hope you enjoy that new update and agree with you, chat. The music always gets better and better. I love that they used cello there for the main theme. I was loving it.
Yeah, we actually researched that. So thank you for also saying. So we're working with Finishing Move, which is the composers that have done all of our music so far, and they're all custom. And we actually do a lot of research for trying to capture sort of the spirit of each region. Hopefully that came through,
Yeah.
what's Nordic. Hopefully that captured it. But yeah, thank you for saying that. I think we had another video that I want to show, a really quick one, just to show you some before and after shots, Jayne.
I do,
don't know
yep.
if you have that
I'll
lined
go
up.
ahead and pull that up too. There we go. There's no sound on this one, so I can show it here.
All right, we can narrate through it. Yeah, so it's generic Svalbard versus new Svalbard. Gaia's doing a great job building airports. This is one of my favorite locations, flying around. I've been spending so much time in the Nordic region lately. It's awesome up there. Bornholm, I don't know if you know it. Cool island south of Sweden, actually, but belongs to Denmark. Holmenkollen, yes, those ski jump fans.
JCV, yes, the update is out as of around 30 minutes ago. Alrighty.
Cool. Yeah, so I basically just wanted to show you some of the, we work on these trailers. We always try to keep them to like 2 minutes or so, but we're making so many more things. So I just wanted to show you a couple of the things that end up on the cutting room floor. So they're not in the trailer, but it doesn't mean that they're not awesome to visit. So Jayne, if you just want to, so we built a bunch of, it's very apropos right now in Europe, the European Championships on. So we have a bunch of soccer stadiums. So you can just see here the Opera House in Copenhagen. Copenhagen is in 3D, by the way, as you know. It's Bornholm Airport. So that Bornholm Airport, just to show, this is also a landing challenge, which is now made by Perfect Flight, new partner, and this is the path we take. Oh, maybe too fast. Anyways, so we're exploring the country with bush trips. We made a bush trip per country.
Oh, nice.
So
okay,
going through some Sweden imagery. Lots of bridges in this area that didn't all make it into the trailer, but fun to fly under.
Yeah.
And we built a really large airport. So Gaia took this on. Arlanda. This is the landing challenge. It's also, if you look at the bush trip next. Next slide. Yep. So it's basically, we're starting in Malmö, and we fly up to Stockholm.
One question I saw in chat, Jorg, maybe you can address this, is for this update, why weren't there any new photogrammic cities?
Because they're hard to get. So you have to get, it's actually kind of complicated. You need to get overflight rights, and then you need to go get the data, fly the data, process the data. And I tried to get us either Oslo or Stockholm or Helsinki, and it just didn't work out in time. Like, I will keep trying, but for this particular update, for the next one, we'll talk about this in a minute. For the next one, we have a lot more success, but this is something we're going to keep iterating on. So it's a case-by-case basis, really. And we can talk about this later, because I saw some other questions about other regions of Earth, and it's just it's a pretty new industry. So you can't magically make Shabam and it all exists, but we will continue to push. So this is Vasa. Here comes the flight through Finland over the lakes. Super cool. The next slide.
That'll be fun to do.
Super cool area.
Norway.
Oh, here comes Norway. This is a great country. I flew a bunch there lately, man. Awesome. The new height field really helps with the elevation and the fjords and all that. It's neat.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some pretty good questions in chat. I would love for you to re-ask those once we get to the Q&A section so we can address them.
Yeah, and Svalbard. Svalbard is super interesting. It's almost at the it's so far north, it's crazy. So landing challenge is actually quite challenging up there. And then we fly almost the entire coastline
Wow.
coastline down. So you fly basically from Oslo all the way up.
Who in chat actually
Last but not least,
does the bush trips? I'm curious. I think they're really fun to do. So, ooh, I love that one in Iceland.
yeah, it's all Reykjavik. This is really northern tip of Iceland.
Steve
and
Charlie,
a famous airport.
nice. Ah, yeah. Look at that bush trip. It's just around the entire country. That's so cool.
Awesome. All right. So that's just a little bit celebration. That's what you're about. That's what you're hopefully downloading now. I think it's super fun, and hope you enjoy it. So, and then without further ado, I think we're going to go next slide. We're announcing the next world update. I saw some people guessing. Some people were right. So the next world update is the first thing. Next slide.
So much suspense.
Dach, which doesn't tell anybody anything outside of a few people. It's Germany, Austria, and Switzerland is what it is.
Okay.
So, and I basically, just like I did last time, I just wanted to show you we're making great progress on it. Obviously, I'm from there, so I'm a little bit happy that we can do this. Let's just show some pictures, starting in the north of Germany. Lübeck. Keep going. Holstentor is famous. This is Hamburg, which is we have in 3D. Yes, Germany has lots of castles. Famous spot. If you know Germany, there's the Lower Liebeck there. Very, very famous.
And your old house too, right?
So hold on that one.
Sure.
So I wanted to show this to go back if you can. So Marcia, I made this for you.
What is that?
Is it a stadium?
Stadium,
Oh,
yes.
the stadium.
Yeah.
Got it.
So for those who don't know, Germany just played France in that arena. And if you look at the score, we always say we're a totally real-time game and everything's real-time. But on that scoreboard, it says 0-0. So I just want to say that myself. 0-0.
So don't rub it in your.
I can't remember what happened, but I don't think that was the final result.
Hey, I'm holding on to this. All right,
funny.
so let's go.
Okay.
Look at Austria. Oh yeah, Lübeck Airport is one. So we're planning on another airport, by the way. Lübeck is one of them. And some of you will know that Lübeck is currently missing in the sim all up.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes us happy. Here are just some of the awesome Vienna. I am happy to announce that Vienna is going to be a 3D city.
Ooh,
that's awesome. Because if you've been to Vienna, it's just an amazing, amazing city. And then we're making Klagenfurt Airport at Austria. Really pretty, scenic, as you can see here. I think there's another picture of the tower. Gaia's doing great on this. Should be super nice. And then a little bit of Switzerland. So Zurich, we also have already in photogrammetry, as you might know, but there are some really important landmarks. Here's Lucerne, famous, burned down and got rebuilt recently. And then here's Lausanne. And then I didn't, so we're making St. Gallen. I just wanted to say that, but we are not ready to show anything yet. It's really early. It's just at the beginning. But so this is essentially what we're planning. There's going to be the data situation in this area of the world is really awesome. So we have great DEM and totally new aerials for this update. And it's also good news on the photogrammetry side. There's quite a bit. So I just said we have Vienna. There's some other ones we're getting. I'm honestly, these are deals I'm negotiating still, but just bank on it. There's going to be at least 3 new photogrammetry cities in this update, which will be great.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jorg. Very exciting. Yep, a lot of you got it right when you guessed Germany yesterday. All right, we have another announcement here.
Yeah.
Ready to show it?
Yeah, it's a plane announcement. So one of the things that wanted to say, I mean, we do these world updates really to celebrate sections of the planet, like, and we're all about aviation. So this is the first time where we try to put together a famous plane that comes out of a region and coincide the launch of that plane with the regional update.
Cool.
So without further ado, it's not all perfectly done yet because we have a few months to go. But it is come on, next slide. It is the Junkers U-52, which is a very famous plane in Germany. This is the model right now. Model is coming together great. And just go through it. And then, of course, we also need people who are, super knowledgeable about this plane. So in this particular one, I'm super happy we got support from the people in Paderborn, where one of the surviving Junkers is currently parked. We have support from Bernd Junkers, who's the grandson of Hugo Junkers, and from the Junkers GmbH. So we have basically all the information we want. And then we also we're very lucky to partner with probably the world's expert in making this for flight simming. So here's our new partner.
Yes, and Oliver, you can go ahead and turn your camera on now. There we are.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, what should I say? I could say if you have seen these pictures of the coming update, then it lies on the hand why the U-52 must go into this simulator. That is only for VFR flight, the best plan. And what should I say? I'm proud to do it with you.
Yep, and we also have some pictures inside the cockpit as well. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that at all. Here's a couple photos.
Yeah, we make it as real as it gets. That means that every switch is switchable and every function will be functionality like in the original one. And therefore we have contact with U-52 pilots and a lot of material as paper, as documents or checklists. This will be a wonderful plane, and I think it's a mix of a modern version and an old version, and the technology and the people still have to work themselves to fly them. That is something we will compare. And I think it's a wonderful thing to recreate a plane like this. With this beautiful landscape we have in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator, I think you give this plane never out of hand and love it and fly VFR, IFR, whatever you like.
And how long have you been making planes for flight simulators?
Yeah, I do development of flight simulation since 1998. I have made for FSX, prepared 3D and X-Plane. And now I work here.
Yeah, I mean, basically, as I was researching which planes would be the most apropos for the region, I actually downloaded Oliver made already a version of the Junkers U 52 years ago, and it's super good. And we basically went on this journey together and said, let's make it perfect. Like no compromises. Let's just get every single switch. We have all the documentation from the actual manufacturers.
Wow.
We have the support from people, and we have pilots that are actually giving Oliver feedback in real time. And those are now rare folks, right, who actually flew the Junkers around in real time. So I think it's going to be just a great thing. And thank you, Oliver, for joining the team and making this happen.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And when's that coming out?
Yeah, the goal is it comes out with World Update 6. And there's this thing in Germany, it's called Gamescom. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a sort of a gaming trade show. It's late August. And our goal is to release the World Update around that time, and with it the Junkers. So it's going to be simultaneous releases.
Incredible. Awesome. Thank you so much, Oliver. Glad you can join us today. We look forward to seeing that plane in full development for all of us to fly in. So thank you so much for joining us.
Okay.
Thanks, Oliver.
Thank you again.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about a new plane, the next world update, our current world update, I think we can go ahead and move to the Q&A section of the stream. So there's a few questions that we have prepared already from the forums. Of course, feel free to ask some in the chat as well. We'll try to capture some of those. But the first question we had already is the topmost asked one in the forums. Jorg, this one is for you. Are missing airports, are missing airports and airport corrections being actively fixed? This is, they've sent over some lists of some of the missing airports, and wondering what progress is on that.
Perfect. Yeah. So I mean, it was super useful on the forum that you posted the list of missing airports. We are cross-referencing that list on our side because obviously we get data from data providers, and that's exactly what we're going after. Right? There were issues with Lübeck, for example. There are issues with Stuttgart, which is kind of shocking given how big an airport it is. And we now have a pretty good accounting of all the airports that are missing. And yeah, we're flight sim. We want to have every airport on Earth working. So this is going to be, it's going to take time to get it all really addressed, but that's the goal. And if you see things that are still missing from that list, please add to them. We're doing the same on our side. But yeah, let's just work together, get it right.
Awesome. Thanks. Next question. Would it ever be possible to create 3D models on top of boats, piers, and marinas?
Well, actually, we're looking at that a lot. Like it's world updates right now are very focused on DEM, like digital elevation meshes, and the new textures that we're getting in, aerials from planes and whatnot. And we're building POIs. Over time, I think we're going to there's all kinds of things we're talking about. Sometimes literally we talk about, hey, should we do all the big train stations? Hey, should we do all the big ports? Like, and that is a goal. And at some point when we make that obviously becomes available for scenery creators as well. So this is a journey to make a digital twin. And I think there's lots to do, as you know. I think what I think of as the huge data, like that covers entire countries. And I think that's getting better and better and better. And we try to show that with these updates. But then there's other specific handcrafted stuff. And for example, marinas is one of those things where I feel they're very specific and it deserves quite a bit of attention. There was actually a cool add-on that exists already where people did some of that. And I think it shows a direction that I think we're going to go in.
Yeah, definitely. And question in chat here from CD. All over the world, updates to date have been countries in the northern hemisphere. I know you can't make any specific announcements, but are there plans for South America, Africa, and other unappreciated regions?
I am my commitment is that we're going to update the entire planet. And you're right, that it was a little northern. It actually has something to do with when people are flying where with the aircraft. But yeah, that is the goal. I don't know if we're going to make it. I sort of tentatively set an internal goal of like maybe we can go around the planet once by the end of next year. So that by definition shows you we're going to go to the south and we're going to go there. We're going to go there soon.
Awesome. That's great news. This question is for Martial. Can we get can we get airport gate lights to illuminate the ramps?
So I think you're talking here about the generated airports, because we've got all the lights for the edited airports, the one we're doing and the one that third parties are doing. But we are not generating these kind of lights when it's about the generic airports. It's pretty simple. It's because so far we haven't found the right rules to do so. So we need to find the rules. We need to create an algorithm that is working everywhere. So it fits on every single airport. And so far we haven't found this way or this algorithm to do that. But we know that it's something we want to bring, and so it's still in research, I would say.
Great. Okay. Good to know. Thank you. On that note, there's also generated hangar heights that are off. There was a fix earlier for building heights that didn't include hangars. Why is that, and will that be improved in the future?
So why is that? It's simply because every kind of buildings, you've got to do some piece of code, and you've got to do some kind of additions in order to have this be controlled by different parameters. And that's true. We haven't done yet that for the hangars. So we are just spawning. We are spawning hangars where they should be, and we didn't have so far the time to do some specificities on that, some code and addition.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can I ask a couple of questions real quick?
Yeah. I see some good ones.
Speeding by. There was a good one because I forgot. I was like, oh, Jorg. So somebody was asking, when are the float planes coming? So if you watch the Xbox trailer, then you saw that we actually added floats, because you know, we looked at the region and we're like, man, there's lakes and ocean everywhere. We need to be able to land. And so we adjusted several of our planes and added floats, and you will get that for free. And it comes with the Xbox SKU. So we tried to time it together. It just didn't work out because of build configurations, but yeah, totally. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now, is actually visit. Like, there's so many lakes in Finland. It's incredible, but it's super fun actually to land on lakes now. With like you know, I'm actually using the Husky that we announced last time. It's close. It's we're thinking we're going to have it out by probably August 3rd or something. We haven't quite locked it down yet. But yeah, totally, like this whole really embrace the country and land in the fjords. I mean, that's really cool, right? So I think it's just weeks away, which is going to be awesome. And then I'd forgotten another thing, if I may. One of the things that also, you know, I said we're updating the world, it's all good. You know, there's also this, you know, there's people, I get a lot of emails from people sending me pictures of them playing with their kids, which makes me frankly super happy. It's one of the things that makes me the most happy, actually, because that's the next generation of simmers coming up, and I think it's great. But I think we also realize that not everybody speaks English. In the Nordic region, Northern Europe, people actually are super good in English, but their kids might not be. So we opted to translate the game into Swedish, Finnish, and Norwegian with this update. And I hope that's appreciated and, like, you know, makes it a little bit more accessible for people in the region.
Cool. Okay.
And since we're talking about the question we've seen, I've seen a question about the sound on the Hangar. So we had the chance to have an access to a Hangar. So the audio team went there to do all the recordings they did to have the sound of the Hangar, exactly like we did for the other planes. So this plane will also have the benefit of the work we are doing on sounds with the actual and true engines and sounds and everything.
And we didn't quite go into, like with the Junkers, we didn't go into a ton of detail. There's going to be different versions because the plane has been around since the 30s. There's also updated versions with glass cockpits. So you could see some of the things in the pictures we showed. So there is actually still work being done, because I think the engine we have is a derivative of a BMW motor. But what we really need is like a sort of a Britney, like a Walt Britney kind of thing. So we will go out again to record probably another plane to just get the engine right, because the engine is different in the different versions that we're shipping, but it should be super accurate. I mean, it's as accurate as you can make it nowadays.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Thank you both. Another question, good question here is, how often is OpenStreetMap data updated?
Mm-hmm. It's a bit embarrassing. It has never been so far. So we know that we've got to bring that. We know that we've got to have the benefit of all the edition that has been done since the launch. And we would like to bring that. It's just taking a bit of time because we've got to do the import of the database. And also we've got to do some testing and to check if all the code we've got is still running. So that takes a lot of time, but it's definitely something we want to do. And it's on our schedule. I can't commit to any date, but it's something we'll do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point to be made here. Like, so 2021 is sort of I think it was a fast and furious year, right? Hopefully we listened to y'all as much as we could, and we're fixing the core sim features. At least we're going as fast as we can. We're updating the world as we promised. We're doing some things like Top Gun, which I think is just it's kind of a once in a lifetime thing, right? How there's only been one Top Gun movie so far. But next year, I think we're going to get pretty serious about what I think of as open data. We talked about it before as the scenery editor, like the airport editor is the first place where we're going to go. But after that, we're going to go deeper into basically making the world almost like a community project. Like it's going to be very open data, and people can help us already fixing building heights. And then that's where OpenStreetMap comes in. The tool is pretty good that they have, and you can basically edit. For example, if you have knowledge of your hometown or something, you could. And I think we want to really engage then, but we need to do a little bit more tools. And as Martial said, everybody is currently a little bit too busy for it. But next year, it's going to be a big deal to really work together on this and make it great.
Yes. Bring back the Melbourne monolith. Great.
With the monolith, oh yeah.
Another good question here is, are world updates always going to be by country?
So I actually don't think so. So per country, it's per region right now, right? When you look at what we're currently doing, that's 5 countries. And I think there's 208 countries or so in the world. So that would take too long if we go country by country. So we're doing region by region. I think that region by region affair makes sense for now. Until we have like a really great, I mean, I said like last year, I said, I think we're going to go down to 5 centimeter worldwide pretty soon. Like the data is really coming in that way. And I think at some point we'll have like such good aerials that it's barely making any difference. So let's just try as an intermediate goal. I'm hoping by the end of next year, we'll have something where everybody says, this is an awesome height field. This is an awesome aerial textures. Let's work on other things. And when you start working on that, then it comes down to bridges, maybe the road system, as we said, maybe the train system. Like there's lots of ideas that people have. I read the forums quite a bit, like almost every day. I mean, the world's big, it's complicated. There's lots of elements to it. Marinas are one of those things. We're probably going to look at that too. So I think that's how I think about world updates, maybe beyond this initial country by country. Maybe we do it type by type. And say, here's a marina pack or something like that. Not 100% sure yet, but I think the answer is yes for now. It's country by country, or rather region by region, but it won't always be that way.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. Do you think we'll ever do navigation lights at sea beacons or lighthouses?
Definitely.
Ooh.
Definitely.
There you go. Other question here. We talked a little bit about this last Q&A, but some clarification was wanted here. So the actual watermasks that we have, can they be generated by AI using satellite imagery?
Okay, so 2 things here. So we're talking about watermask, just to guess where the water is. So the difficulties here is that the satellite images are showing like lots of discrepancies for the water, depending on of many factors. It can be light position of the sun and the reflections, even winds, tides, even the nature of the the color of the water. So it's very complicated to do one systems that recognize every single kind of water. So that's why for the moment we have rather chosen to rely on vector data. So we've got the map, we've got vector data, and we know where water is. So maybe sometimes we can have some edition errors. We don't have the tides yet, to have different levels of seas. But we rely on this because of what I've said just earlier. But the last time we were also talking about water masking for showing the seabeds. So this is different, and also this is curated, because depending of the updates of the images we're receiving, the seabeds can be seen or not. So we have to select, and we have to choose where we are going to show the photos on beneath the rendering of the water, and the same here. We haven't yet find a solution that could detect this fact that the part of the land you're saying is beneath the sea and it's part of the seabed, and that we could then use that into the sim. Maybe it's something we could bring later, but for the moment, this is handmade.
Yeah.
I think we said that before. We're going to experiment with bathymetry. We have a data set for bathymetry. We need to see, and Seb made that point, it really 100% depends what the seabed is, right? And if it's muddy, it's muddy. If it's green, it's green. If it's sand, it's sand. And we need to, and it's interesting when you look at photographs of the water, it actually is so dependent on time of day when it was taken. I mean, sometimes it's literally just glare. All you see is like this brightness. Like, well, again, that's not very helpful. So I think we're going to try this with bathymetry here, and probably in the next months. I don't know, but you'll probably see something, maybe a result in 2022.
Yeah. Okay. This question's being asked quite a bit. Is there any chance in the future where you're going to turn off runway lights during the daytime and just have them on when you switch to night?
It's the way it has been done. The lights are always on, and after that it's the rendering that does the trick. So we would have to reduce a bit the system. It's something we could bring, but yes, it's not working like that for now.
Yeah. And Jorg, you mentioned earlier when we were showing photos of the world updates, Gaia had worked on some of the points of interests, and questions in chat more so around what kind of team have we built for world updates. They were curious about how much Gaia does for points of interest and how much of our team is dedicated to world updates.
So Gaia's team right now is about 40 people. So that's a split between some work on airports, some work on POIs, and then Perfect Flight is one individual, but a really great guy named Marco. The Bing team, that's hard to say. I mean, Bing, you have to think about it differently, right? There's companies and partners like Mexcel that we have as a Microsoft level, and they're pretty big, and they don't fly worldwide, but they fly lots of regions of the world. And so we get all that data through Bing. And on the Bing side, so there's a dedicated group that is probably larger than our flight sim team, which is 250 or something like that now, when you count them all up. And then there is also editors that are hand editing our height field, just because the Bing use case is a little bit different from ours. So they basically go through, when we get new data in for something like what we just did, they go through Fairer, for example, and make sure that there's no big spikes. And that's we are just now, that team is now started and has helped. We're actually looking at, is that big enough? Because there's two editing teams. There's the height field editing team, then there's also the photogrammetry editing team. Because what you get with photogrammetry, while I really love photogrammetry for flight sim, it has some issues, right? Because it's basically just a plane flying overhead, and you see sometimes cranes, for example, are really funky objects, because you see sort of a half crane sort of sitting in the sky. If some of you flew over our version of London, you see there's some areas that don't look so good. And then typically you have 3D editors that go in and clean that up before we publish. And so I would say that team, I can't even put a number on it. It's the ones that directly work with us, probably 20, 30. There's a lot more beyond that. Yeah, and then I think I read somewhere why Gaia. I think Gaia is awesome. Like I really feel like we obviously had POIs from the base release, and we are trying to inch up the quality on everything. Like if you look at the airports that shipped in the base sim, I think we're getting to a better state via Gaia, and Gaia gives us lots of feedback of what features would be useful. They're just one of the third parties, but they're just very proactive, and it's helpful for us to hear all that. And then their POIs, I think, are really getting Jorg words shit hot. I mean, I think some of them are great. You can really land on them, walk around and free camera and stuff, and the tow hold up great. So I think I'm very happy with them actually.
Yeah.
Just because of we're speaking about POIs, and somebody said that there's one bug where POIs are popping too close. So Gaia has been working on that, and we are bringing LODs very soon, so this will be fixed.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, I get deliverables from Gaia literally almost every day. Like today we got updates for Paris, for example, because we are putting LODs into the Paris POIs.
Yeah.
And yesterday, like last week, it was London. We did fixes for Japan. I mean, this is not done. We obviously have our own bug database and our own testers, and we pay attention when you guys see something that's wrong. We put it in our bug database and fix it.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're done with the world update and don't go back. We're going to go back and make sure that everything works great. And
someone asked earlier, you mentioned Perfect Flight. They wanted to know what role Perfect Flight plays in world updates.
They're making our bush trips now and our landing challenges. I mean, like, I don't know if you play their stuff. We say they, it's him. I really liked it. Like, I remember the first one I think was called Fjords or something that I flew, and I thought it was really nice. Yeah, and then I played 2 or 3 more, and then our designers looked at it and everybody was like, this is great. So we basically just contacted Marco and said, hey, do you want to work with us? And he was all enthusiastic. He's been a long-term flight simmer. He's been creating things since the 90s. Super proficient at it, totally gets it. And yeah, I mean, you will enjoy World Update 5. You will enjoy missions from Marco. Yep. And going forward, I mean, that's the plan. He's been doing awesome.
And you mentioned this already. Someone wanted to confirm, even though we didn't get Photogrammetry cities for the Nordics, that doesn't mean they're not coming, right? You're still trying to get them.
You'll see, like, I am relentless. Trust me. Like, I will relentlessly pursue the world being as perfect as you can make it in modern technology. Like, trust me on that. Like, it's.
Oh, you can trust it.
Yeah, I'm getting on everybody's nerves with that. But we're gonna get as many photogrammetry cities as you can get. Like, seriously, my goal is that this is the definitive digital twin.
Yeah. And while our focus is new regions, whenever we have a world update for POIs, do you ever think we'll go back to ones we've done already for new POIs as well? For round 2, I guess.
So I don't know exactly. So right now, we're currently looking at both the launch airports and the launch POIs and see if we should upgrade them, because the bar has been raised since we launched.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something nobody should be surprised if we go back and make changes and improvements to everything we've already done. And then, I mean, I could throw out a number. I think we'll make 2,000 POIs next year. We're going to continue to make POIs. They're super good to have. Some of them will roll out with world updates. Some of them will roll out with different things. But I mean, our goal is, I mean it, let's have the really perfect digital representation of our planet.
Mm-hmm. And is there any way to actually simulate high and low tides in coastal regions?
Yes, we talk about this. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's R&D. There are some databases, we looked at them. Obviously the moon plays a role and all that stuff. There's ocean swell. I mean, there's a strike team, it's called Strike Team World 2.0. That strike team has looked at this, and we will continue to do so. It's clearly one of the things we want to do one day. Like where I come, like Germany has an area that is like huge, that is, depending on the tide, is either like, basically like a state that's completely underwater, submerged or not. It's called Watermasks, and it's super cool. And it breaks my heart. And Barra, we had that already with the England update, right? That airport is typically, it has something to do with the tide. And it was bothering me that we couldn't simulate this. So yeah, it's definitely something we're going to look at.
Cobalt Archer wants to know, can you go into a little more detail on what teams or team is managing missing airports and fixing airport issues? Is that external, internal, or can we say anything about that?
It's both. So there's the I mean, is that okay, Marcel, if I speak to this? So the main
of course.
Main producer on the Asobo side, his name is Patrice. He's really great and dedicated to, just like the things I just said. I speak for him and others, like obviously, and he wants to make the perfect world too. So he's very much leading that effort. I think the folks from Working Title are helping. Chris from Working Title has been engaged on that particular front. I know Royal on our side, who's our aviation expert, has been looking at this. I know they're working with some folks out of the community. I know we're paying attention. I mean, I'm paying attention because I'm reading the threads, and so I would say it's probably sort of a brain trust of maybe 5 to 10 people that are really focusing on that.
That's great to know. Yeah.
And just to give you an explanation on that, it's not like we wanted some airport to be excluded. It's also because when we receive the data to start with, you have the discrepancies between the satellite images and what we got, and sometimes we had just no material. So it would also be updated with new images.
Yep.
So it's an ongoing effort. And yes, thanks, Patrice Cassagna. He's working right now, just above me.
And we're getting down to our last couple questions here before we wrap up. Great question someone had is, could you create a landing challenges section to pull all the old challenges that have been featured?
That is the plan. Yeah. That is the plan. There's actually something on the feedback snapshot that says exactly that. I think the way we read it is called "Bring Back Old Events" and But anyways, we talk about it, and I think we even gave it a date already, which means we're thinking about it. Creative director Damien, I think, is actually just talked to me about like how he wants to reorganize all that to make it a little bit more compact of how you find all this.
Let's see, seeing maybe one or two more questions here. Oh yeah, will the Aurora Borealis be featured one day?
Well, it's in the feedback snapshot, isn't it? I was actually just writing on this last night, Jayne, as you know.
Yeah.
I sent it to you. I mean, it was one of the things. Maybe I'll quote Seb, who is not here. I said, "Hey Seb," it came out of the World 2.0 strike team, and it was rare clouds, something like the Borealis, both north and south. And Seb just said, "Yeah, it's just a program. We're working on it for 6 months." and I was like, "Oh." 6 months, damn, because it has to be physically right. That's the problem. Yeah. We don't fake stuff. We don't fake stuff. So we would have to know something about the magnetic field, and we would have to go, what does the iron storm look like right now? I mean, it's really just kind of like that. And I don't know that much about the physics, but Seb immediately went into physics land. It's like, you're up, we need to get this right. So I think it's definitely on the roadmap. I think we put it probably into 22 is what I think we put Northern Lights. And it's not just Northern Lights, Northern and Southern Lights, but yeah.
Awesome.
We
6 months. Wow. That's really cool.
Oh my God.
Well, it's Seb's way.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, all right, everyone. So this is not the end of our Dev Q&A. We have part 2 coming in just a couple weeks on June 30th. And that's when we're really going to delve into Sim Update 5, so Xbox and PC improvements. So if you have a question, go ahead and head to the forums and post that in the Dev Q&A section, or vote for questions that are already posted in there. We're going to take pre-selected questions and, of course, live questions as well. So that's really the time we're going to really delve in on that subject. So Jorg and Marcial, thank you so much for answering.
I have one more thing to say.
Yes.
So I just want to say, because I see a bunch of people ask about Xbox and whatnot, right? So in I think it's in a half hour or so, there's something called I think it's called E3 Showcase Extended or some such thing. I actually gave an interview there, and I talk about the new features. If you're interested in the new features, there's a bunch of cool features that come with Xbox, not just performance, that are, I think, are super cool. And so I talk about them a little bit there. If you want to already know, like, we talk about it more on the 30th when we have our next Dev Q&A, but it's like a 10 minute or so interview, so that would be cool.
Cool. I went ahead and posted the link to where you can watch it on YouTube. It looks like it's starting in 33 minutes. So feel free to head there, give Jorg some support and learn a little bit more. So, on that note, we're going to head out. Chat, thank you so much for all the questions. We hoped we answered a lot of them for you. We'll be back here on June 30th for the next Q&A. All right, everyone, have a great week and weekend. Talk to you soon.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Bye.